Are you fed up of doing everything for your children and still do not understand why they're not listening to you or respect you? You might do everything for them or give them every opportunity that you didn't have. Or you may put a lot of focus on spending quality time together as a family, and yet after all of that, you don't know why you don't have the relationship you want to with your child. If this is you, then in today's first episode of the Happy Home podcast, I'll be sharing with you exactly what your children need in order for you to have a great relationship with them. Welcome to the Happy Home podcast, where we help Muslim mothers create success and happiness in their personal, professional and family life and raise their children as happy, pious and productive Muslims. My name is Amina Sayed-Hossen and I am your host and the founder of the Happy Home Institute. Hey, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the very first episode of the Happy Home podcast, where I will be sharing with you some simple tweaks and changes that you can make to your parenting to help you overcome the everyday parenting challenges that you and, thousands and thousands of mothers are having that just like you. The sort of questions I get asked by my clients on a weekly basis, the sort of challenges that they face, and by my followers who send me messages and emails and, we speak. These are challenges that are very, very common, except that you wouldn't realize because they're not the sort of challenges that you would share with your friends. Most of the time we won't tell our friends and family, the deepest struggles we're having, with our child, because it makes us feel like a really bad parent. In fact, often we feel so judged as mothers, that we don't want to open up and tell people really what we're struggling with. And sometimes, we're surrounded by people who, act like actually they've got it all together. It's really easy and their children are behaving. So, it's really hard to open up and say, hey, what's working for you? Share that with me. So I get a lot of those questions that you're not going to ask anybody. And yet what I realize as my clients do, because they hear the questions too, is, hey, we're all having the same sort of challenges. And when you understand, exactly what's going on behind your child's behavior and how to address it and what they need, parenting becomes so much easier. And the approach that we use at the Happy Home Institute is to follow the Quran and Sunnah parenting model of understanding our child's psychology and their behavior and how that's related, and understanding what creates the best opportunity for our children to thrive and do well in life. When we understand that, we understand, number one, how to thrive ourselves and how to behave in a way that's going to be conducive to the results we want, but also how to help our child achieve that. And when you understand the theory, it means that you can apply it to each of your children, regardless how different they are. So really, I want to share with you something that works for every client that I work with. They get amazing results, really fast results, and I want to be able to share with you what they're doing, what steps I'm giving them, so that you too can follow those steps. And inshallah, find that you can start enjoying your parenting instead of stressing about it. So bismillah. Today what I'm addressing with you is, what to do, when you give everything to your child, yet they don't listen and respect you. Now, before going in and giving you the solution, I want to talk to you about this giving our children everything as an approach that many professional Muslim mothers have in order to almost counteract, perhaps what they didn't get in their childhood, but also to be able to, of course, do their very best by their children, give their children the very best. Now, when we start wanting to give our children everything, the thing that sometimes we end up doing is a lot of the organizing, the doing, the running here, the running there, the paying for this, the working so that you can give your child everything that you can buy, the experiences, is what is missing from that is giving them you. And for many mothers, including how I used to feel, that I had to give them experiences and things because I didn't realize that what they really wanted was me, and I didn't think that I actually was enough, that just me was enough. And what I want to tell you, my sister, is yes, give your children the best of whatever you can give them, whatever opportunities you're able to bring into their lives, but it's you. The first thing that your child really wants and needs is the best of you. And if you in any way doubt that you're enough, then do get in touch so I can help you with that, inshallah, because you are enough. You absolutely are the best child, the best mother for your child, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created your children and chose you to be their mother. So of course you are, the best person for the job. But if you along the way have doubted that and things have happened that have made you doubt that, then we need to resolve that, inshallah. But yes, so knowing that the first thing that they need and want before all of those experiences is you, time with you, your love, your attention, that is going to create a really strong foundation for the back of all those other things that come later. So that's number one. Number two, if you have, going back to the problem of your children not listening to you, no matter what you do, one of the patterns we can fall into, one of the cycles that, the negative vicious cycles we fall into when we want to give our children everything, is we fall into almost, making it our job to make them happy, pleasing them, which is great. We all love our children being happy. It brings a lot of joy. But when that's the case, and then you need to set a boundary, you need to say no to something, and your child obviously doesn't like that, you can end up feeling so bad. They can make you feel bad because now they're unhappy. So if they're happy, you're happy. They're unhappy, you become unhappy. And when you feel unhappy, you feel, you start maybe thinking that you're a bad mum, you failed now, you can't get it right. Maybe you were too harsh, and maybe you were, but, sometimes those boundaries actually needed to be set. To then end up saying, not wanting to say no, not wanting to set those boundaries because it makes you and your child feel so bad. And then therefore your parenting becomes really much one based on your child dictating, this is what I'll do because it makes me happy. This is what I want because it will make me happy. And this is what no, Mum, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. And that's when they start taking leadership of you, because suddenly they can feel that you're letting them lead. And if that's the case, then that's another reason why doing everything and pleasing everything, doing everything for your child and trying to please them in everything stops working. It goes to one extreme, and therefore we're unable to get our children to listen. So when we're parenting that way, be aware of those two pitfalls. Make sure you're giving your child the best of you first, and also that you're still leading. Now, I want to say a few words about leadership, because that, again, is something that we're not really taught to do. When in our professional careers, we take leadership courses, for example. We lead adults, but that's not the same as leading children, because at work, they're paid to follow your lead. So they listen more easily. Children are not the same. So even many of the CEO mothers that I work with, the business leaders, they find it easier to work, to lead teams than to lead their own children. And the more that happens, the more they want to work and less they want to spend with their children. But remember, that's one of the key things. Your children need you above all, time with you. And it doesn't even have to be a lot, but they want good quality time with you. So, remember that it's not about leading this, it's not about leading children in the same way you lead adults, because that doesn't work. The best way to lead children is not to have an aggressive style of leadership, not to have a very regimental, dictatorship, because that also leads to rebellion or, silent resentment, but to be a loving, nurturing leader. To love and to nurture them in such a way that they want to follow your lead, that they ask you for advice, that they're looking, to see what you do so that they can follow your steps. Now, that is the dream for most mothers, right? To be the sort of role model that your children want to follow. And I think that sometimes is our biggest challenge as mothers. It's very easy to teach our children. It's very easy to, well, it's not easy because they don't want to listen, but it's easy to adopt a role of just teaching our children or facilitating their lives. But becoming, someone that they want to follow, that can seem more challenging, because we, in order to achieve that, have to overcome our own challenges. But I tell you, my sisters, this is exactly what I do with the clients I work with, and they end up having the most amazing life as a result, because they're overcoming their challenges, and as a result, without much effort, their children are naturally leading them, following their leadership. They're naturally listening, they're naturally more connected, and the respect just is a lot easier to get. So sometimes we want to focus on working with our children because that's where we see our biggest challenges, causing us problems. But really behind those challenges are often, how we're dealing with life, how we're struggling with our relationships, how we are being challenged ourselves, and that's impacting our parenting. So if that's going on for you, I hope what you've got from this podcast is that's really the first that's really what you want to be working on as a mum. But trust yourself, know that you are the best mother for your child. It's you they want, and don't be afraid to lead them, to set the boundaries, because they may not like it, but they will respect the boundaries that you put in place for them, as long as you're fair and, and not setting them when you're angry, because those are the ones that we have to fall back on and take back. So I hope there's a lot there that you've taken and really helped you to maybe look at your parenting in a different way, and a few things that you can do immediately to start making that difference. We'll leave it there. I don't want to keep these podcasts very long, because I want you to be able to enjoy them week on and week out, weekends, and be able to know that they're short snippets that'll get you in the right direction for the most amazing journey with your children. I'm going to leave it there, but if you have any questions or you have these sort of challenges that you want to address, then get in touch, send me an email, and we can have a chat and make a plan for how you're going to resolve that, inshallah. Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. We'll leave it there. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a great day, my sister. Take care.